Okay.
That was Badly Drawn Boy and Don on Blitz, and that was David F. Ross. And thank you for coming along, David. Uh, as you know, we're collecting for, well, we're asking you to donate. It's a free night, but you can donate, and it would be lovely if you did. And the donations are to Samaritans, and they're also going to Shelter, which seem to be the two charities, I suppose, the two causes that you think, well, I think of most at Christmas, especially this Christmas, of seeing the number of people who've been homeless. So if you have got any money lying around the place after buying Christmas presents, bung it in. If you haven't got any, don't worry. I hope the show's not shit, and I hope you enjoy it. I'm delighted to be joined by Falco. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Andrew Falkous, how are you? Are you
I'm
good?
I'm good. I'm about an eight and a half out of 10. Pretty good.
8.5.
Yeah.
That's as good as you can get.
It is as good as I can get, certainly. I mean,
Mate,
other people can top out at nines, and there's a selection of people that even go beyond 10 in their measurements, but I'm not one of those people.
yeah,
10,
not on the
10 is the
Fellini
maximum.
scale. Not on the Fellini scale. It's 8.5 and you're out.
There we go. There we go.
Um, I'm very excited because mclusky, your band, has got a new album coming out next year.
Next year, correct. Yeah. It's very
And when
exciting.
and when is that date? When is that
It's
momentous
in May.
date?
In May the 9th, it looks like, but I'm not allowed to officially announce that, so I will immediately retract that
You're not allowed to
announcement.
tell us about it.
No, no, I'm not allowed to tell you about it, so I didn't tell
Okay,
you
well, all right.
originally.
I apologise.
No, no apologies required. That was entirely on my own initiative.
No,
We
no,
do,
it was me
we
getting
do, no,
overexcited.
we do have dates which have been announced for May, so it does strongly imply there's going to be a new album.
Okay, so there's an implied album coming
There's
out,
an implied
implied in
album,
May,
possibly
possibly.
existing in
But
that
it
month.
looks
Yeah,
like if you put two and two together, it's May.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Um, when I asked you to do this, you told me this. We sat and chatted about the story,
Mm,
and because I really like songs with a big old story behind them. Do
mm.
you know what I mean? And I always, I think there's something really exciting about that. There's something. I remember going to see the Pogues, and it was in the evening after we buried my mate's mum, and it seemed like it was, there seemed to be this wonderful sort of moment. It seemed so appropriate that the story of it would end up there. And I love that about music, about how it plugs us in. So tell us, what's the song that that
Well,
you've got for us tonight?
the song is there is a Green Hill, the popular kind of minor key hymn, but that's really not the point of the story. The point of the story is that my father, very long departed, he was a headmaster, but he was a music teacher. Really, that was his passion, and he wrote children's musicals. Some of them around the nativity. He was a junior school teacher, so he wasn't writing musicals about the AIDS crisis. He was writing nativities and stuff. I wrote one called "Rocking Down to Bethlehem" that every child. I went to his school for a couple of years. That's an interesting experience. Every child should go through. But he wrote a couple of these musicals, and he would sometimes take hymns and other Christmas songs and repurpose them or write different melodies for them. But since I'd only been at his school, and then I'd only heard this song at this school, it wasn't until I think I was 11 that I heard the OG mix of "There Is a Green Hill," the actual the melody as known to the rest of the world. And I went home, and I said, "Oh, I just heard this different melody for "There Is a Green Hill," and I much prefer it." And my father was, well, heartbroken, as you might imagine. I didn't find out till years later, though, when my mother told me that he was actually. I thought he was just in a bad mood because because of life, but it turned out it was because I'd inadvertently dissed a tune that he'd written. Upon reflection, his version is much better. It's entirely possible that he's just taken another melody and a pre-existing melody and taped it to this song. I did try and do some cursory investigative work, like on Shazam. That was as far as my investigative work went, to check that he did in fact write it. But I would like to just ask anybody out there if they do think that perhaps he didn't write it, just to not tell me. I'd like to keep the memory as special as possible, you know. So he did his, this version of There Is a Green Hill, and that melody has just been stuck in my head for, I mean, he died in 1988. It's been stuck in my head for years. And so this afternoon, when we just went up to the northeast and then came back to spend Christmas in Bristol, I just decided to record the first two verses for you. I must admit I had to Google the lyrics for the second verse because, well, because it's a hymn, and you sing the first verse, then you check out. Anybody who's reading all of the lyrics probably has intense personal problems. So yeah, I recorded it, and I'll, you'll play it in a bit, I guess. I was going to try and sing it for you live, but I thought I might burst into tears, and that really isn't the Christmas message that we all need, I think.
Well, I think it's completely acceptable, understandable, and within the range of human compassion and understanding.
What is this compassion?
Well, okay. I'll tell you what, I think we should play it because you sent us over a recording of it. Would you introduce it for us, please?
Yeah, well, this is There Is a Green Hill, which is theoretically by my father, who was called Ronnie Falkous.
There is a green hill far away, without a city wall, where the dear Lord was crucified, who died to save us all. We may not know, we cannot tell what pains he had to bear, but we believe it was for us he hung and suffered.